Hi, everybody, and welcome to Factor This. My name is Angela Godwin. Joining me today, please welcome my guest, Ian Rice. He is the Senior Director of Programs and Services at WESCO. Ian, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump right in with a bit of a tough question for you. Supply chain. We hear a lot about this. This is some challenges in this area, but how can utilities optimize their supply chain for grid modernization projects in particular?
Yeah, so utilities can optimize their supply chain for grid mod projects in a variety of different ways, but really it's a two-pronged approach. You should really focus on sourcing and services. So how can their partners be able to leverage their current relationships with their suppliers, as well as have the services required for that program itself. And so at the end of the day, supply chain is all about risk mitigation and how to minimize delays. But at the same time, if you can do both of those right, you can maximize the overall value.
That makes sense. All right. So let's talk about some of the benefits that utilities can gain by partnering with WESCO for their grid modernization projects.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So WESCO takes a very comprehensive approach to this. And what we do is we like to first start by building a model. And what are the inputs? What are the outputs? Of the program itself. What are the constraints? What's the short-term goals and long-term goals of that program? And the best way we see, and we've had decades of experience of doing this, is by building OpEx recovery programs. And so what this is a very transparent way to conduct business with our customers. Customers can then see and forecast that ROI of what that program's output is going to be from a revenue standpoint. And it all starts with demand management. So understanding, if there's already been some material that's already been ordered, what needs to be ordered on the short-term basis. And then from there, we can start to develop that sourcing and procurement strategy, understand what our inventory strategy should be as well. As well as how are we going to manage the contractors, right, throughout the process? How are we going to make that part efficient? And it all is, it's a very cradle to grave approach, as you can see from a minute to minute standpoint or the overall program. And we also incorporate all of WESCO's standards. So safety and security are at the top of our pillars as an organization, and almost all of our customers have the same pillars, right? So that's very important to us. And then lastly, the returns and reclamation piece. We want to be able to utilize our experience with suppliers and make sure that there's not going to be excessive restocking fees and really make sure we get the most value out of those programs.
That's great. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
for sure. What about outsourcing? How does that help utilities and C&I firms manage their very complex projects?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, especially since this is more of a program, right, or a project, it's going to be for a set duration. It's hard for utilities or C&I firms to want to fully invest in that small duration or small window. So whether it's 6 months or 5 to 10 years, right, it's still a small window of time. So really, firms should really be focusing on their core competencies and then let us focus on our expertise on the logistics side, right? And then on top of that too, it becomes it's a way to clean up the balance sheet, because if it's traditionally it would be a CapEx expense, we can keep that at a minimal and be able to, yes, increase OpEx, but it's more for a shorter duration and keeps the balance sheet clean.
Let's talk a little bit more about program management. So particularly with really hyper growth secular segments like data centers, renewables, and so forth. So how does WESCO approach that?
Yes, I mean, really what we even figured out, even kind of going back here a second on the utility space, again, before I go there, decades ago, we realized that we started in hurricane and emergency response. And so we realized that if we can, execute in uncontrolled environments, we can easily execute in controlled environments. So that's how the utility framework started these programs. And so the same thing has now occurred really after the COVID volatility with the hyperscale market and renewable developer market. We're able to help standardize these certain products for our customers and then implement full OpEx activities for them. So provide them with the real estate, the human capital, and all the equipment that might be needed at some of their more remote locations.
Great. Excellent. Terrific. What about asset management? So there must be some challenges, I would imagine, that utilities and C&I firms are facing that is specific to asset management. And how can you help them address that?
Yeah, and this is a huge growth area for my business right now, because no matter if you're a utility or a C&I customer, whether you're a hyperscaler or a developer, a renewable developer, everyone's having the same issues right now. Whether it's the market volatility, whether it's a cyber attack, or a weather event, right? At the end of the day, we need to make sure that the assets are secure, and it's not going to disrupt the program or project itself. So with that being said, we have one customer where we're managing 1 million square feet of solar panels and large apparatus. And the manufacturers trust our process so much that the warranty for the products that at least are procured from us doesn't start until it leaves our facility. So it's a huge value add to the market, because they don't have to worry about warranty until energization. And with all lead times being all over the place right now, it's just a great way to plan an operation.
So, Ian, let me ask you, when it comes to today's energy transition, what role does grid modernization play?
Yeah, so whether it's a grid mod project or a grid resiliency project, we only see them going to continue to grow in the future for a variety of reasons that we kind of just mentioned, whether it's an aging infrastructure or the exponential demand spikes that we're seeing from the hyperscalers trying to tie into the market, as well as distributed energy. Power quality is going to become an issue as time goes on. And so there's going to be more and more need for utilities to modernize their operations.
Yeah. Yep. That's great. And last question for you before we wrap things up. What role does technology play in improving inventory management for utilities?
Yes, this is, I think, one of the most exciting areas of my business right now. And the main reason behind that is because, AI is not really a buzzword anymore. We're starting to actually see business case uses for AI right now. But even taking AI out of the question here just for one moment, technology is always going to be vital for supply chain operations. It provides visibility, and the more technology you incorporate, it's going to make operations more and more efficient. And with Wesco being a leader in supply chain management, it's important that we continue to invest in that technology. So I mentioned AI here for a moment, but I will say we've been just in the past year, we've built our own programs successfully, and we are already starting to implement them into our processes now. So a lot of exciting times ahead, and we're hoping that we could even potentially utilize that technology as a service to our customers as well.
Well, Ian, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights. We really appreciate it, hearing all about Wesco and all the things you guys are doing.
Thanks for having me.
Wish you all the best of luck going forward.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And to all of you who tuned in, we want to thank you. This has been Factor This. My name is Angela Gottman.